Hello, my name is Maria Tarasova, and I am an art critic and art historian. I work in Siberian Federal University, and today I begin a session of video chats on how we can understand works of art when we consider them as partners in dialogues, and these dialogues can happen anytime. For example, several years ago, I found myself in the exhibition hall of the Christie's auction house, and this was the first time when I got aware of these exhibitions held prior to the auctions. And I was so surprised and delighted to see all the artworks, but by artists I know so well, although the specific artworks were still unknown to me. And it was in that moment I realized how we can learn better by seeing new artworks. And so I never try to miss the exhibitions of auction houses since then. So this November, Christie's auction house is presenting a lot of lots and a lot of interesting artworks. But the one that caught my attention specifically is the artwork by Pablo Picasso. And now I will show you the piece, and we'll see it in detail. So this work of art is called in French Femme, accroupie, en costume turc, and a sitting woman in a Turkish costume. That's how we may translate the name of the work of art into English. It was created in November of 1955. And here is the picture, and we can see the details of it, and see that in the right upper corner, the artist put the day when the work of art was created, and his own name in the right bottom corner of the picture. In the center, we can see the character who takes up most of the space here. And this character is created as a combination of basic geometrical forms, such as lines and triangular forms, and these diamond shape forms, circles. The colors chosen for the construction of the character are bold, and they represent this Turkish costume as this uh, enveloping fabric, which still enables us to follow the track inside of a human figure, which is painted here by black lines. We see how her face and the axis of her body are constructed in mode of prehistoric paintings, or we may say childlike drawing. So here it is simple structure which forms the core of the body. And the color of this core like element is black. And we can see that although the year is 1955, Picasso still relies on the concept of cubism that he created in the beginning of his career. For example, when we look at the face of a character, we see the combination of profile and front look, and cubism allows to see one object or person from different perspectives, and various dimensions of a character coexist really in Picasso's Sitting Woman. For Picasso, Cubism was not only a style in painting, but also a worldview and a point of view on art. Multiple layers of forms, characters, works of art previously created by other artists and by himself, different cultural ideals and traditions, they coexist in his artworks. And so Picasso creates this artwork according to a very simple geometric scheme, but the simplicity of this scheme doesn't devalue the work of art, because this goes back to the primordial forms of art and primordial forms of human nature, not just a certain sitting woman in a Turkish costume, but the general model of a woman as a symbol of feminine nature and the female and the divine nature of the female is represented here by using certain compositional elements. And we can see how he continues this diamond-like shapes in bigger and smaller forms, coming deep into the nature of the human being represented here. And this is a symbol of a woman, not just a certain woman, but a symbol of a woman, which is like a portal into the divine. And that was the concept of the woman created and recreated in each and every work of art made by Picasso, and actually many other artists he was in constant dialogue with. And an image of a Turkish woman, an odalisque, came to Picasso's notion from Delacroix and Ingres paintings. By the way, in 1954, he began his own series of Femme d'Alger, made after Delacroix, and Femme, accroupie, which we are looking at now in the left, is certainly a part of this series made inspired by Delacroix. For Ingres and Delacroix, creating this world of harems with odalisques was the way to depict the inner world of any human being, the world of desire, the world where the contact with the human nature was very direct, and where irrational element predominated the human beings, and this trance, this atmosphere of irrational subconscious nature, which is being opened up by all elements of this harem's atmosphere and inhabitants. It was the way to portray the inner world of a human being. And Picasso was very much in contact with this kind of ideals. And so he began creating his own obelisks in a very early time of his career. But in these years of 1950s and 1940s, he also paid close attention to ancient art, and he recreated the characters of Greek mythology in his ceramics. And here we can see how the face of the Turkish woman in the painting, it resembles the faces, black faces represented on his ceramics artworks, where the god of wine, the Dionysus himself, is recreated many times. This serious nature was very important for Picasso's creativity in any form of art he turned his attention to. And for example, here in this image of the visage noir on vase, again in ceramics, we can see how this idea of a human face resembling this feminine bosom and the symbol of femininity itself is repeated in painted and in ceramic forms, and how one and the same idea is going through various stages of the visual thinking of the author. And of course, the topic of brothels and harems never failed to interest Picasso. Here is his famous picture that started the Cubism, Young Ladies of Avignon, or the Philosophical Brothel. That was actually the name of the picture given by the author himself. It was created almost 50 years before Femme, accroupie in costume turc, but we can see the same ideas going through Picasso's mind even 50 years later, when the female character represents this primordial force that constructs the world, the source from which the whole life can be born. And this also allows us to suggest that just as in the Young Ladies of Avignon, he not only painted some certain ladies, but he also was in connection with himself and constructing his own image by the contact with this primordial force that he was depicting in female forms. And just like the Ladies of Avignon has this element of a self-portrait, the same can be said here. The artist always portrays himself, this desire to understand the world and come in contact with the source of the world, and picturing the female goddess uh, as this kind of a sculpture of the primordial Venus presented here. Venus in art survived many transformations, and odalisque in Ingres and Delacroix art were also forms of the ancient goddess of Venus. And here, again, the sitting woman in a Turkish costume in Picasso's picture represents another version of Venus, who is able to let a human being go into the source of the meaning of the world. And here in this picture, we have a marvelous example of the whole world of art history combined. So Picasso is in constant dialogue with periods of art which existed before him, simultaneously with him, and of course he is still the source of inspiration for the artists and viewers of the present. So this online contact with one of the exhibits and lots of Christie's auction, which is going to which is going in New York right now, gives us an opportunity to find out more about not only art, but also about ourselves. So I was happy to be your guide through this picture by Pablo Picasso, and I hope you enjoyed this tour, and I believe we'll see more artworks together at this series of talks on my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for your attention, and see you later.